During the next 10 minutes, you're invited to visit the refreshment stand, where you'll be greeted with fast, friendly service. You'll find hot dogs, juicy hamburgers, and mouth-watering delicious pizza.
Oh no! Show him my pets! He shouldn't have called us flies ugly. Now I'm really bugged.
I'm Jack. This is my apartment. You do speak English?
Yes?
Oh, good, because I wouldn't want to spend the whole night telling you how lovely you are if you didn't understand a word I said.
Yes? You'll be all right now. I know it's worked!
Saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it. But now the dream is over and the insect is awake.
No, Seth.
I'm saying I'll hurt you if you stay. Never been much of a bather.
It was August of '86. Director David Cronenberg would bring to life the sad and gruesome story of Seth Brundle, an eccentric yet dazzling scientist on the verge of something special. Seth Brundle is portrayed by the wonderful Jeff Goldblum. With the financial backing of Bartok Science Industries, Seth spent the last 5 years developing unique telepods that can teleport objects between them. Feeling severely isolated, Seth attends a Meet the Press event held by his funding partners. Here, Seth meets science journalist Veronica Ronnie Quaife, played by the beautiful Gina Davis. Seth, just wanting someone to interact with, takes Ronnie to his warehouse home to demonstrate the telepods in his laboratory. After demonstrating the telepods by teleporting one of Ronnie's stockings, the two would come to a compromise as Seth asked Ronnie to exclusively document the experiments, ending with Seth safely teleporting himself. As of now, the invention can only teleport inanimate objects, as a poor baboon is horrifically turned inside out as the machine dismembers live tissue. As time goes on, Seth and Ronnie begin a strong relationship. After a night of some fine loving, Seth brainstorms and teleports a raw half of a steak. Seth discovers his machine has been creating a synthesized version of biological matter rather than the actual object itself. The celebration is cut short when Ronnie abruptly leaves to confront her publisher, Sathis Barans, after receiving word that he intends on stealing her story about Seth's work. Seth naturally begins to heavily drink while venting to his baboon about why he believes Ronnie is cheating on him. While intoxicated, Seth decides to teleport himself alone. This dude is blasted out of his gourd.
I didn't mean to kill your brother, but he didn't die in vain.
Unbeknownst to the introverted scientist, a housefly enters the transporter pod with him. Soon after, Seth emerges from the second pod. He looking healthy as shit. Seth and Ronnie get back together. Seth's behavior begins to drastically shift. Extreme sugar cravings and endless stamina in bed only fuels Ronnie's concerns. Increased strength and agility also begin to manifest, as well as strange thick hairs on Seth's back. When Ronnie is unable to keep up in the bedroom, Seth grows angry and impatient. Brundle attempts to force Ronnie into the pod, promising to purify her body just like his own. Ronnie refuses, so Seth leaves his warehouse apartment to find someone who will. Back at a CD bar, Seth challenges some poor schmuck to an arm wrestling contest. Seth's newfound strength is highlighted here when Brundle breaks his opponent's wrist. This motherfucker's bone was practically ripped into his skin. Seth then takes the woman home where they have sex like jackrabbits. The woman's playful manner is soon disturbed as Seth once again tries to force her into teleporting. However, Ronnie arrives and gives us one of the film's most iconic lines.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Seth is agitated as Ronnie pleads for Seth to seek help. His face is beginning to look like hamburger meat and he's smelling really bad. Ronnie then confesses to analyzing the hairs on his back and the results read not human but more insect. Seth smashes a support beam before tossing Ronnie out of his apartment. Soon after, Seth Brundle begins to deteriorate rapidly, and this is the shit not for the squeamish. After Seth begins losing his fingernails, he runs the teleportation sequence again and discovers the computer, out of confusion of multiple life forms, had genetically fused the poor bastard with the Fly. Oh fuck! After several weeks, things just get worse. Seth, out of fear, calls Ronnie over, and what she sees truly horrifies her. Seth Brundle is pretty much a human fly hybrid, sticking to walls like Spider-Man and vomiting digestive enzymes onto his food so he can slurp it all up. This shit is fucking gross.
I have recently discovered a fascinating new way to eat. Observe. Oops, sorry. Ah, my bubble paw! Bubble lion! Well, waste not, want not. Hey, get off of it! It's too much hurting! Is that half shotgun, half another shotgun?
That's stupid.
Seth begins lecturing Ronnie about insect politics and reveals he is losing his human compassion and threatens to hurt Ronnie if she stays. Undoubtedly my favorite scene in this very depressing film. But it gets worse. Ronnie reveals to Stathis she's pregnant with Seth's baby, and after a nightmare where she gives birth to a giant maggot, she rushes to abort the baby. Seth overhears this conversation and abducts Ronnie shortly after. Stathis attempts to rescue wielding a shotgun but is fucking brutalized as Brundlefly pukes all over his hand, dissolving it to the bone. But wait, Brundlefly then spews the acid, destroying his foot. Before Seth can hurl all over Stathis' face, Ronnie screams at Brundle. Seth now reveals to Ronnie he plans to fuse himself, Ronnie, and the baby into one. What the fuck? Ronnie struggles with Seth and rips off his jaw in one of the most disgusting transformation scenes you will ever witness. The horrific insectoid human hybrid traps Ronnie in the first pod before entering the second pod itself. Stathis, who is beyond fucked up at this point, pulls himself together and blasts the cables with his shotgun, dismantling the pod from the system. Brundlefly attempts to escape its pod, but the fusion had already activated, turning the creature into a gruesome mess. And arguably the saddest scene in the film, Brundlefly painfully crawls to Ronnie, pointing the shotgun to its head to end its suffering. Ronnie cries heavily before blasting the monster's head clean off, ending its struggle.
What's up, bitches? So, when Rick said he was going to do The Fly, I actually had this on my list. So then I decided I'm just going to join the fuck on in. David Cronenberg, for my generation, and hopefully yours too, is one of the masters of body horror. He had done Scanners with Michael Ironside. If you don't know what that movie is, then shame on you. But you know what? His head blew up. And then he did Videodrome. And in Videodrome, which was really trippy, and there's that scene where the guy put the gun in himself. Yeah, watch that one. Then you have to add a Stephen King movie into your repertoire. He went and did The Dead Zone, one of the better adaptations of a Stephen King book. Fun fact, David Cronenberg had made appearances in his own movies just like Stephen King did. However, it was his role as Dr. Philip Decker in the movie Nightbreed that showed you just how scary David Cronenberg can be. So as I said, for my generation, David Cronenberg had become one of the body horror people. And it was the movie The Fly that, for me, me up, because this guy was crazy with the body horror. So watching your body transform and basically have limbs just fall off is pretty fucking up. And in this movie, there was just one shit that started happening that really messed me up. And this is why you are here. So you're going to need a shot for this. Hey, you did see that this is part 1. Yeah, it's not gonna happen right now. Next week, find out what it is that me up and why you're gonna need this shot.
That's so f***ed up.
Drink deep or taste not the plasma spring. See what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about sex, penetration. I'm talking about penetration beyond the veil of the flesh. Deep, penetrating dive into the plasma.